No matter how good you get, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many successes you reach in your life, your happiness is going to be determined by how much better did you do than you expected. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be going over how exactly do you stay motivated during your fitness or weight loss journey. A lot of you start out very motivated, you start dieting or you take up exercise, you join the gym, but it quickly fades out. Or maybe you do it for a year or two, but you can't keep going. I'm 46 years old. I started training when I was 10, and I love it as much now as I did when I start. Most people, they lose motivation. It comes and goes. Today's video, I'm going to teach you my secrets, what's worked for me, how you can apply it to yourself in order to be successful in weight loss, health, and fitness the way I am. I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying it because I want you to experience the joy of loving to be fit the way that I do. I loved exercise and fitness so much that I went to university to study to be a physical education teacher. I wanted to spread my passion for health and fitness to the world, to the children. I am no longer a phys ed teacher, but I am still a teacher. I teach on YouTube. I've said in previous videos that exercise is a reward. It truly is a reward. At least it is for me. The problem is it's not a reward for everyone, but how do we make it a reward? Well, when we experience a reward, a release of dopamine occurs in the human body. Dopamine, it's a feel-good hormone. When you exercise, dopamine is literally released. It makes you feel good. You know what dopamine is. That thing that makes you feel good. Why people chase a high, why people do drugs, while people eat junk food. It's a spike. Every time you see or feel or experience something you like, dopamine is released throughout the body. It's a very good feeling, and so we seek that reward out. When I exercise, I get a dopamine hit, a rush. It makes me feel good, and I want to keep doing that. If you like exercise, that is the result. If you don't like exercise, that is not the result. If you see exercise as a form of punishment, that you have to get up off the couch and go and move, go for a walk, I hate it. I don't like it. You don't get a dopamine rush. Dopamine might, in fact, go down. So for some people, they see exercise as a form of punishment. It's sad. But how do we get away from that? How can people see exercise as a reward the way I do? Well, there's two main factors. One is do the activities that you like. Don't do exercise that you hate. If you hate running, don't run. If you like biking, go bike. I don't like running. If I go for a run, I don't enjoy it, so I don't do it. But I love bike riding, so I choose bike riding. Every time I go for a bike ride, I get dopamine. The next thing, if you're good at something, you get more of a dopamine release than if you're bad at something. So it's been very important that you practice and get better at what you're doing so that you enjoy the activity that you're doing. Think of it. If you suck at something, are you going to enjoy doing it? If every time you shoot a basketball, you miss, you never shoot it in, every time you run, you trip and fall, you hardly can ride a bike, you feel like you're going to crash every time you get on the bike, that's not fun. And so the dopamine release is not the best. You don't like it. So try to practice and get good at activities that you like. So when I was a school teacher, I tried to get to the grade primary students and make them love being active, to love movement, to find something that they were good at, to teach them to be better at it so that when they got older, they could engage in sports or activities that they liked. Some people like basketball, football, soccer. Other people, maybe they like dancing, yoga, or going for a walk. Find what you love. Now, the problem with dopamine is you can get it from other sources other than exercise. If the only way you could get dopamine or to feel good was through exercise, everyone would be exercising now, wouldn't they? Think about it. If exercise is the only way you could feel good, everyone would exercise. But it's not. It's not. You can feel good by eating a chocolate bar, by having cake, ice cream, Haagen-Dazs. All these junk food items cause dopamine to be released. So some people, they're just gonna have 10,000 calorie cheats all the time in order to get a dopamine release. That's not good because it's not gonna contribute to weight loss or a healthy lifestyle. In comparison, exercise, it is good. And it's not just diet and exercise. There's other things that can cause dopamine to be released. Lots of things. Every time you're experiencing something good, dopamine is going to be released. Sex, watching porn, chasing girls, boys, or circles, watching a good movie, getting compliments, scrolling through Instagram and Facebook. All of this can cause dopamine to be released by the body. So rather than going out and exercising, a lot of people do this all day long. They don't bother having friends. Why would I need friends? Why would I need to get dopamine by talking to my circle of friends, or quite literally my friends who are circles? Not quite literally, but you get what I mean. So rather than going out with your friends, exercising, and doing all these good things to get a dopamine release, you end up doing stupid shit. Maybe you're into recreational drugs. Maybe watching porn. Maybe cheating on your girlfriend or boyfriend or circle friend. As often as you can, the thrill of getting away with it. You're getting a dopamine release, making you feel good. The problem is, what goes up, it must come down. You only have so much dopamine to use in every given day, week, year, or lifetime. So if you choose to get your dopamine on stuff that doesn't add to your life, then you're not going to do as many things as you should be doing that would add to your life. So for me, it's very easy. I get a huge dopamine release every time I go to the gym and lift weights, do cardio, move, have friends, talk to my friends. For other people, they don't get it from that. Maybe they're addicted to drugs, gambling, pornography, or things as simple as scrolling through Facebook and looking at how many likes you're getting, or how many DMs you're getting, or how many people are commenting on a post you got, or how many people are watching your YouTube videos. It is so easy to fall prey to dopamine release from sources other than diet and exercise and things that are positive in your life, and getting it from other things. And once you experience a shit ton of dopamine from something, it's hard to, again, get that same feeling. Remember when you were a kid, Christmas morning, Santa Claus dropped off presents, and you woke up, how excited you were? Do you remember the excitement leading up to Christmas? How exciting it was? Would that same excitement be there if every single day you woke up and you went down the stairs and saw presents everywhere? Christmas came every single day. Wouldn't that be amazing? No, it wouldn't. You'd get bored of it, because if you were exposed to Christmas every single morning, it would get bored of it. It would be no big deal. It would no longer have its impact, its meaning. And so in the same sense, if you're overweight and you start to lose weight and you lose 5 pounds a week, week after week for a month, after a month, if you only lose 2 pounds, you're like, I only lost 2 pounds. It sucks. Meanwhile, 2 pounds is amazing, but it's like getting Christmas morning every week when you're losing 5 pounds. So the key for me, the advice I'm going to give you is to stretch out that positive dopamine release over as long of a period as possible. If you have 100 pounds to lose, try not to lose 100 pounds in a month. You will be like, wow, oh my goodness, before and after transformation, I lost so much weight in a month. That's amazing. But guess what? You then lose the 100 pounds, and now what? And now that high of that dopamine that was released, it's going to be low. You can't always be high. Can't. You could try, you could do cocaine every day, but sooner or later, you're going to need more and more and more, and eventually you're an addict. The same applies to building muscle. So many people are tempted to use steroids and PEDs, and you know what happens when you use them? Huge dopamine release. Why? Because you put on 10 pounds of muscle in a month. Oh my goodness, look at me. I put on 15 pounds of muscle in 3 years. Should have taken me 5. I did it in 3 months. So you look in the mirror every day and you're like, wow, this is so fun. I love training. Eventually the gains, they slow down, or they stop, or they go down because you go off cycle. So what was once amazing, the most fun ever, when you use PEDs, after it's like, can't gain any more muscle, the gym is not as fun. And guess how I know that? I'm the guy who trained natural for as long as possible, slowly gained muscle over decades, then took steroids when I could no longer put on any muscle. And once I took steroids, dopamine release was huge. Look at me, I'm an IFBB pro, this is amazing. And then sooner or later, can't win any shows anymore. I'm going against the best of the best. I can no longer get that huge dopamine release from winning a bodybuilding show. When I was natural, could get it all the time. Win shows a couple times a year. Wow, that's amazing. I enjoyed the journey, not just the destination. Exercise was that reward. The fact that I was pushing myself in the gym, suffering, that was a reward. You quite literally can get a dopamine release when you know you're doing something good to your body. When I'm racing in a Zwift bike race, pushing myself, going up the hill to keep up, I'm getting a dopamine release. The fact that I'm suffering is literally making me happy. I actually embrace the suffering. I like it. Why? Because I know that suffering at that moment, it's going to allow me to pursue my goal of winning the Zwift race eventually. I'm not going to win every single race. If you win every single bike race, it get boring. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go in this race. I'm going to win. Where is the fun in that? The fun is in the challenge, the intermittent reward that sometimes you can win, sometimes you don't. But when you win, it's amazing. If you don't win, well, you know you trained hard and you pursued that goal. Same can apply when you're in the gym lifting weights. If you train in the gym harder than last time, the reward is you're training harder than last time. You know it's going to help you to reach your goal. If you just half-ass it, go in the gym, do everything, it's not a big reward. If you don't like it, the dopamine release is not as big. And I get it. Not everyone has the same level of enthusiasm, motivation, or baseline of dopamine in the human body. Some have more than others. I've always been a doer, somebody that's pumped to go out and explore the world, to take on challenges. I like it. Other people, I take on challenges, video games. I like video games. I sit there. I don't want to go out and hang out with friends. I don't want to go and take on challenges. To go out there and study, get a good job, find a circle friend that I can spend the rest of my life with, that doesn't interest me. Game Boy or Circle Game, whatever they're called now, I like that. Meh. They're just less dopamine. They just function on a lower level of dopamine. They don't care so much. Doesn't mean they can't get better. Doesn't mean they can't find rewards in other things aside from video games. And so how can we master this use of dopamine to enhance our journey to long-term weight loss success? Well, dopamine quite literally is what motivates us to do everything in life. We're motivated to feel good, to be happy. Well, try to focus that dopamine on things that allow you to feel good and be happy, that will help and benefit you. So rather than watching porn and scrolling through Instagram, doing drugs, focus on getting your dopamine to help you do what you really want. If you really want to lose weight, to exercise, to eat healthy, then focus your efforts on getting dopamine when doing those activities. Every time you do drugs, you get a dopamine hit. Every time you go to the gym, you get a dopamine hit. When you drink a cup of coffee or take pre-workout, a dopamine hit. So rather than drinking coffee all day long, taking pre-workout morning and night, focus on when you need it. You really need it for that gym workout? Take it for that gym workout. You really need some caffeine to help you study because this exam, it's really important. Take your caffeine then. Don't drink 5 cups of coffee every single day or take pre-workout twice a day. It's a waste. Focus it on when you need it. Another way to extend the dopamine release on things you like is to talk about the things that you like. So if you want to enjoy and extend the excitement of the sport that you're in, the exercise, the diet, then talk about it more. Think of me. Every single day I get to make videos talking about being fit and exercising. All the time gives me a dopamine release. Literally making videos motivates me to exercise more and eat healthy. When I do a Zwift bike race, I often will text my brother, take a picture of my heart rate, call him on the phone and say, hey, I just did this race. It was so fun. The hill was so hard and I almost won. I should have done this. And then he writes back and says, oh, that's cool. I did that race before too. And I did this at that time. And then the next day, the same conversation. So what happens is it makes bike riding more fun because we're talking about it. That's why when I'm talking to my girlfriend, all the time talking about what did I do on this video or what did I exercise today? How much weight did I lift? How fast was I? How many watts, Hari? She has no idea what I'm talking about, but I like it so much and it makes it more fun for me. So my advice, if you want to have more success in weight loss, find other people that share that passion with you, that you can talk about it, go back and forth with. You can say to your friend, I walked for 30 minutes straight today and I did 2 miles. You say, really? Last week you only did 20 minutes. How did 30 minutes feel? Oh, guess what? I was at the gym lifting weights and I, for the first time, had a plate on each side on the bench. It was awesome. And you go back and forth and you get excited. You talk about the diet. I bought Coach Greg's meatless cookbook and I made the donuts and the pizza pockets of peanut butter. I can't believe how good it was. Really? What did you do? What flavor protein? What company? Oh my God. And then you talk back and forth and you're more excited and you want to keep doing it. It's releasing more dopamine. But what you don't want to do is sit there and watch porn all day, cheat on your partner, and do rec drugs all the time in order to get a dopamine hit. Because what goes up must come down. As high as you were that night, as drunk as you felt, as amazing as you were, how did you feel the next day? Probably not good, because it's all about balance. What goes up must come down. So if you get all your joy, your excitement, your happiness, your dopamine from things outside of fitness, you won't want to do fitness as much. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, why would I bother going to the gym and working out and doing cardio when I can just snort this right here, or I can just watch that chick and this dude doing that to each other? Why would I want to have sex with my partner when I see all those people doing all that exciting stuff? Why would I want to be with my partner when it's more exciting to go and chase that person over there? Because listen, having sex, chasing people around, skirting around, being bad, it's exciting, releases dopamine. So does eating chocolate, so does doing drugs, but at what cost? It's going to feel shitty later. Before you know it, you get used to that, and the excitement, it goes down. It's not the best ways to get your dopamine. It certainly works, but it's not going to help you pursue your fitness goals. On the other hand, you can get that dopamine from exercise. You just need to find the exercise that you love, get good at it, keep getting better at it, and extend that enjoyment over time. So if weightlifting is the one that you want to pursue, don't take steroids, because you're going to get such a huge dopamine from that steroid cycle that eventually it's going to suck when you're not on steroids. Trust me, I've done it. It's not as fun to train in the gym when you're losing strength and size as when you're gaining it. Extend it over a long period of time. And when you lose weight, extend that feeling as well. When you lose a ton of weight really quickly, wow, huge dopamine release. Look at my picture in the mirror. So much weight loss. It's amazing. Extend it and learn to enjoy the journey rather than the destination. And stop rewarding yourself with stupidity. Oh, I had a good week, cheat meal. So you did good all week, and now your reward is to eat junk food, which is going to cause a huge dopamine release, and then you're going to want to keep eating that shit. If you eat protein ice cream all week, and every Saturday you have a buffet of Haagen-Dazs, the protein ice cream's not going to taste as good because you had a huge dopamine release from the Haagen-Dazs. Protein ice cream from my cookbooks, 80% as good as the real thing. If you have lots of cheats, too much of it, too much dopamine's released, then you go back down to baseline or worse, and you feel shitty, and having that protein ice cream is not the same. Now you're chasing that high from the junk food, from the sugar, the crap. Learn to be consistent and balanced in your diet. Not saying to never have ice cream, but do so in moderation. For the most part, spread out that dopamine. Don't eat a shit ton of food, massive buffet once a day. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to eat so much pizza and ice cream, get drunk tonight. So many people do that. Huge dopamine release, back down to baseline or worse. Then you feel like shit. Then you can't wait for that cheat again. Binge and purge. Then you very easily can develop an eating problem. You end up eating and then purging perhaps, and you can't stick to your diet, and you have too many cravings. Imagine this, you're trying to get involved in exercise, and you tell your partner, every time you go to the gym with me, I'm going to give you $100. They're probably going to come to the gym for quite a bit. Then what happens when you take away that $100? They're not going to do it. So if the only reason you're going to the gym is to lose weight, what happens when you lose the weight? When you take out that reward, that extrinsic reward, what you need to do is do it for what comes from within, intrinsic motivation. The motivation to do it just to do it. You get that dopamine release, but it's a positive one. It's good. It's good for the body. Whether you're studying in school, trying to get the highest GPA, get your master's in exercise physiology like Coach Greg, and you get a dopamine release by knowing you studied harder than everyone else, that's good. Versus you don't study, you get drunk, do cocaine, cheat on your girlfriend all the time. Probably not so good as if you use that dopamine to help you to pursue what you actually want to get good at. You know, education, career, fitness, a special someone in your life. Ever heard of postpartum depression? You're pregnant, you give birth, and you're depressed after? It's a real thing. That happens when people do bodybuilding competitions, bikini competitions. You diet for 4 months, put everything into it. And then you achieve your body goals. You look amazing, and you win. It might even be the Mr. Olympia. Then after that, you're on such a high, it is unbelievable. Won my pro card. Oh my goodness, I am pumped. Crash. After the experience is over, it's shocking how fast it goes away. This applies to so many things. You make a YouTube video, the first time you get 10,000 views, oh my goodness, I can't believe 10,000 people watch me yell and scream into a camera. Then you get used to 10,000, goes up to 100,000. What is even happening? Then finally, you get 1 million views on a video. I can't believe it, 1 million people watching me. Then you post a video, it gets 100,000 views. That's it, 100,000. You're disappointed. Why did only 100,000 people watch this? A year or two ago, you'd have got 10,000, you were pumped. Couldn't believe it. Now you get 100,000 and it disappoints you. Your dopamine is literally below baseline on what 2 years ago would have made you so excited, put you through the roof. Experienced it all of this myself. And I know other YouTubers are experiencing the same thing. I read the comments, I read the posts, and talk to them. So I have a theory. Your level of happiness is how high above what you expected to happen that actually happened. So if you expect to only get 1,000 views and you get 10,000, it's like, wow, I'm 10 times happy. This is unbelievable. But if you expect to get 1 million and you only get 100,000, you're disappointed because you expected more. So the first time you buy a $50,000 sports car, when you never thought you could get one, it's mind-blowing. You can't believe it. Then you buy a $200,000 sports car. Wow, that's amazing. I never thought I'd get that. Then you buy a $400,000 car. You're like, wow, that's pretty good. Then you go back and buy that $50,000 car. And you're like, what is this? I don't like this. And it's because your level of expectations have gone up too much. So my advice is not to experience so much growth so fast. Don't gain 15 pounds of muscle in 3 months. Don't lose 100 pounds in 3 months. Spread it out over a long period of time and get joy. Every time you're getting a bit better, you're a bit better than you expected. It's fun. But if you're expecting to make light and day improvements all the time, it's no longer fun because you get used to that extreme level of dopamine. If you're gaining 100,000 followers a month on YouTube, and suddenly you're only gaining 30,000 followers, you feel like you're not doing that good. What am I doing wrong? You're still doing amazing, but compared to what you did before, it can be disappointing. So my advice, enjoy the journey, extend the benefits over a long period of time, take the time and experience your successes. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. If you go and win the Mr. Olympia in 1 year of training, that's great. But then what? What could you possibly do? You win the Mr. Olympia, you start training age 19, age 20, you win the Mr. Olympia. What more can you do? How can you get pleasure from this? Versus if you start training at 10 years of age and you don't turn pro until you're 35, that's 25 years of a journey that you enjoyed. Sure, you want to win at 20, 25, but if you take longer to get there, is it not more rewarding? Is it not better? If you experience everything in your life at such a young age, what more can you do? What more could you possibly do? So please, stretch it out. Bulk and cut. Why do you think people bulk and cut? Because they cut down, they get ripped, can't maintain it, and get bored. Oh, it's been a month. I don't think I gained any muscle. I know what I'll do. I'll bulk. I'm not getting any dopamine because I just lost 50 pounds. Now I don't know what to do. So you bulk, gain 50 pounds, you get stronger. Oh, I'm pumped about that. Then you cut again because you can no longer gain any size. Bulk and cut, bulk and cut. versus slow and steady over many years main gain? Which of the two is more likely to lead to burnout? If you're bulking, going on a cycle, force feeding, you're going to gain a lot of weight, but it's soon going to come to an end. You're not going to be able to keep gaining. Better to stretch out those gains. 1 pound of muscle every 2 months, 6 pounds in a year is better than 6 pounds in the first month and none for 11 months after. You're going to debate me, oh, if I do this, I can gain it all 6 pounds in a month. Why would I want to stretch it out over a year? Because if you gain it all in a month, you're then going to be depressed when you can't gain anymore after that. No matter how good you get, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many successes you reach in your life, your happiness is going to be determined by how much better did you do than you expected. So if you gain 6 pounds of muscle in a month and the next month you gain 1, oh, that's not good. I'm not happy about that. I expected to gain more. Same happens with steroids. First cycle, you gain a lot of muscle. After that, not so much. Still some, not as much, not as fun as the first cycle. Versus you gain 1 pound in the first 2 months and you keep doing that. You're like, yeah, it's working. I like this. My training is giving me the results I expected. Makes you happy. So hopefully you learned something. If you're lacking motivation, try to do some of the things I talked about in the video. Don't get your dopamine elsewhere. Try to get it from exercise and doing the right things. Find someone that you can share your experiences to extend it to make it more pleasurable, to more fun to do it. Choose activities that you love and get better at them. Don't try to accomplish everything all at once. What goes up must come down. You can't always win, and focus your efforts and get your happiness from the things that you truly want. Don't waste it on stupid shit. You know what the stupid shit is. You yourself, you get to decide what's important for you and what's not important to you. For me, exercise is important. Health is important. Living a long and healthy life, very important. Being happy is important. I can tell you from experience, if you get too happy from one thing, you're going to not find that same level of happiness if you do the same thing over and over again. So please, spread it out, enjoy your life, ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching, Greg Doucette IP Pro. Please watch one of the bloops. Don't forget, harder than last time supplements, click the link in the description. I also got this cookbook, really going to help to lose weight, make it so much easier, so many delicious recipes. Training books, coaching plans from me and my team. Subscribe, click that bell button. Do it now so you watch more of my videos. Do it. Follow me on the gram, the talk, and until next time, I am out.